souls. The ones who see things a little bit different, who bring back the past, make the future persistent. They fix the bugs, they break the security, making good old and new just work. You can quote them, disagree, glorify or vilify, but you'll see the only thing you'll never do is turn away or make them mute. They change things, they make the next step, they push the world and make it right. No respect for the status quo, they shake the ground, they steal the show, they break it apart and build it again. They don't ask why, they just begin. They don't follow, they design, rewriting fate, defying time. They dream in assembler, logic and think. They fix what's broken, make us link. You can quote them, disagree, glorify or vilify, but you'll see the only thing you'll never do is turn away or make them mute. They change things, they light the spark, they push the world out of the cause. Since the matrix behind the light, in rust and vinyl past rewrites, they find the gems in what was lost, they bring it back no matter the cost.
Welcome everyone.
They won't stop, they never fade. They turn the old into upgrades. Some may call them out of line, but progress proves them right. While some may call them crazy, we see the genius blazing. The ones who dream, the ones who do, the world moves forward 'cause of you. Because the people crazy enough to believe are the ones who make us dream. The ones who change the world, it's true, and maybe you're one of them too.
Welcome everyone to our very overdue new YouTube summary here of our Linux distribution. We spent a couple of more months making T2 25.4 release. Coming next week, the best Linux we ever released, including bringing AMD ROCm AI acceleration not only to T2 but RISC-V, world's first, and ARM64, as well as making T2 freaking desktop Linux, and it only does everything. Live here, as you've seen, it installs as fast as one music intro runs here on this channel. And welcome everyone. So what we have done, we, of course, the latest and greatest of everything, right? Comes with latest GCC, latest LVM Clang, latest libcs, glibc, musl, uslibc, latest Linux kernel, latest Mesa, and also ships with OpenCL. Of course, everything cross-compiled means also to PowerPC 64, LE, IBM mainframes, RISC-V, and everything in between. We spent 3 weeks, no kidding, live on Twitch, packaging AMD ROCm HPE High Performance Enterprise Compute Stack for AI acceleration, and we can now run world's first. I will make a dedicated video and press release porting with partially sponsored by Deep Computing, bringing AMD ROCm AI stuff to RISC-V and making RISC-V ready for the future. Latest Cading GNOME, of course, and of course we wouldn't be ourselves if we wouldn't also fixed QEMU building for 32-bit Spark, or all of Rust for Spark 64-bit 32-bit userland. We literally finished patching that this morning or lunchtime live on this sunny day in our office. We have a web installer, right, released some months ago. If you're new to this stuff, T2 now as easy as install it like Rust, curl ls, location as silent, https t2linux/install pipe sh. No kidding. We're shipping this since January, a record-breaking 3 months. and now supporting bootstrapping, meaning previously it did support. I mean, first of all, this technology is already amazing enough. It allows you, if you have a physical terminal, to take over your running system if supported. Asterisk, minor implementation details might apply. Now it also allows you to bootstrap ARM, any of our 30 plus, basically 42 combinations, but 30-ish CPU instruction set architectures from ARM to RISC-V, Spark PowerPC, Raspberry Pi and stuff, other small board computer things, or just your Apple Silicon, ASI, Linux replacement, Raspberry Pi, RISC-V, Spark PowerPC, PS3, you name it. So you can now choose system takeover or not if supported and so on. We literally finished that the day before yesterday or so. And we wouldn't be, not only did we undelete previously with our friends, the gang of 3, we undeleted Itanium, we undeleted other stuff that I forgot. And now we also undeleted Riser FS3. Yes, Riser FS3, yes, but not only do I still run Riser 3 because upstream deleted. Why undelete? Because upstream Linus Torvalds Foundation cannot afford it anymore with 300 million in funding. So we do it with $3 in funding of your shares, likes and subscribes and super thanks and stuff. Of course, we still forward ported Sony PS3, so it still runs on all the other previous good gear, Apple Power Macintosh, Sony PS3. We even undeleted because upstream deleted. They deleted literally the airport driver, the Orinoco is the chip that is deleted in upstream. Of course, we undeleted. We adopt everything. Just don't send us hardware donation. Just send us some money because next we need a T2 Linux Foundation with millions in funding to support everything that is upstream deleted. I tested this. I spared no efforts. I literally purchased a card because I only had the Apple Airport. Apple Airport is simply this Orinoco. Later, like, what was it, 3com or whatnot, later sold to also Orino, whoever that was. Later sold to ROCm or whatnot, or Interseal. Was it Interseal? And then purchased by 3com, whatever. I spared no efforts and purchased a generic PC card so I can test, because I'm now the maintainer of upstream deleted stuff, right? So that I can not only test on like Titanium PowerBooks or G4 Cube, but also plug it into a PC and test that. We did that. It works. You're welcome. Increasingly, I guess we will need to undelete even more stuff. Other improvements in T2 include huge alternative alternative handling, so that we have slightly better support for alternatives like libSDL, Compat versions, and JPEG versus JPEG Turbo. But we also marked a shit ton load of optional dependencies, so that when you want to install T2 install Kate, this is a live system, right? So T2, it just does everything. Can it do Kate? MySQL, don't need today. PostgreSQL, certainly not. All I want was Kate, or best without typos. BDB, YOLO, ACL, don't need. So previously, until some months ago, T2 would, for example, installed ACL access control list and ATTR extended attribute library things. And for example, here, libcanberra, yes. So this is a real dependency that's not even lib. I personally reviewed this. So among the hundreds of hours I spent already in 2025 making T2 the best Linux distribution for myself, maybe for you, hopefully for everyone, increasingly desktop Linux. That is a real dependency. I reviewed this. It's using, libcanberra is using links of all things to generate documentation. We will further improve this, so our plan is in the future, T2 will actually tell you, yes, it's using links for documentation. Do you want that? That is for next quarter, right? You always need Steve Jobs mode. You always need one big thing, one next thing of like, hey, next quarter, maybe. But hey, it's the best invention since sliced bread. libbc don't need that today. And so this sonnet, yes, that needs a spell, or like, okay, do that thing today. Handspell, like it needs one speller. We will further improve even that on my to-do. So I vastly decreased my to-do. Last year, my to-do was 666 lines. Now I'm at 920 lines. So mission accomplished. We approximately worked and finished approximately 100 to-dos. So we are now down from 666 to down to 920. And one of those next things is attribute this. It needs one of those because Sonnet, a spell checking library frontend, I believe, needs one of those as implementation backend for spelling. This will now emerge some approximately less than 30 minutes and come back with Kate. We also, so that's basically that. Also, yeah, we've worked further to more fully dynamic dependencies. We obviously added some most likely 100 packages, probably dozens of Python, a couple of KDE gnomes, this, that, and the other, some DirectX headers of no kidding Mesa things, and certainly, ROCm, AMD ROCm alone is some 64-ish or 62-ish packages. All of this, of course, is mostly tested on RISC-V PowerPC Spark. I literally booted a Spark machine today to make sure it actually doesn't segmentation fault. We also spent no efforts and vibe coded with a little bit of AI assistant, aka mostly me, but a little bit AI vibes for the website. So the website has a huge overhaul, I would say. Much better sorted menu, better content, T2. What is it? If you clicked this thumbnail and don't know what you're talking about, VRT2 Linux, a package manager, a ultra portable low-code package manager and Linux system development, and supporting other OS homebrew with a reference Linux distribution that just does everything, and Sony PS3, and Itanium, and RISC-V, and my desktop, because obviously I'm running this. Of course, we updated Hyperland, added some icon sets for you, because obviously Hyperland now needs its own icon set. So now we have the most beautiful rendered icons ever invented. And we even tested Alignment 16, 17, IceVM, Window Maker, After Step. Did I mention IceVM, TWM? And we changed the default, like 25 years later, we changed the ugly cyan TWM background to Rebecca's purple, because after 25 years, I couldn't see the default cyan anymore. That's basically the summary of T2. It increasingly does everything and undeletes everything the Linux Foundation hates. I hope you like this. It's basically compiling here. I hope we don't have too many build errors. We did this a couple of times, so hey, only 5 years live on YouTube and Twitch, and nearly everything is amazing. Oh, and we ship, of course, the latest version of GIMP, Ardour, and packaged the Audacity fork, Tenacity, and made it build so that, of course, you want to start it differently, but I don't need menus. What even was the name? Tenacity. Of course, you use a menu. Also probably I that when I think yeah, it was working yesterday until did I mention the latest version of OBS? I think I need to relink this. The good thing is it doesn't build too long. Also, so that's basically live. Oh, that's also like that. Of course, the last year already we greatly simplified that. Previously you had to run T2 in its home directory. You don't need that anymore, right? So basically T2 up here anywhere, and T2 install for Tenacity. I hope it builds instantly, maybe not, because I undeleted my libjpeg and now I only have libjpeg turbo. That I should have done this last year on my personal thin client. Also now we might get some frame drop because now my Steam Deck, from which I'm highly efficiently live streaming, of course using the latest version of OBS Studio live here on T2 Linux, is only an AMD custom APU. That's basically it for this summary. I hope we covered basically everything for the Linux distribution that does everything. Let me check what we had in the comments. Maybe I pop it out, and where were even... Basically, don't download that today. It still does cost nothing, surprisingly, although it's the best, increasingly the best and only fully working Linux distribution. Where was the button? I didn't live stream on, here, Poker Chat, of course. And then let's move that here. And so that we have a better overview. Welcome, everyone. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're all doing well. Well, I have a good operating system. Also, like we have some, like now my 15 watt thing. Let's hope Tenacity builds. It should build. Nothing like testing stuff live on this channel. I hope you're all doing well. At least I have an amazing desktop Linux distribution, and I couldn't be happier because it just works. It does everything. Glad to see you all. Was just talking to someone about T2 when you saw this. I'm happy to hear that. Like T2 needs more talk because my neighbor and ex-wife both agree T2 is the best Linux distribution, and they probably both wouldn't lie, right? And holiday watching life is great. Happy to hear this. Everyone has everyone. Yeah, exactly. Has everyone. By the way, we have amazing new contributors. So T2 development is accelerating faster than ever because we have multiple new people with write access. So while I sleep and we chat here, there might be people actually working on things, and that is amazing. You wake up and you have new packages, new fixes, new updates. And did I mention our data AI bot that does do wipe updates every other day for freeing working stuff? PowerMac G5 dual quad-core boot issue system freeze has been fixed. I don't even know about this. What was this? What system freeze was it? It doesn't freeze for me. Did you report this? I lost overview. I spared no efforts and purchased. Oh, however, I fixed the headphone jack for. So basically, T2 boots for another user. So T2 boots on a quad-core G5 of a user. And it boots on my dual core and on my PS3 and on my, so maybe, I don't know, graphic card. So I've no idea what that could be. Basically, patch welcome. But I spared no efforts and used your donations to further improve my hardware test lab and museum. And I fixed the headphone jack, like basically T2, the only Linux distribution where the headphone jack works on this trash can. And also this trash can. To my surprise, a decade later, headphone jack didn't work, or I think audio out in general didn't work, and now it works in T2. And the other thing is I spared no efforts and purchased another chip because it was cheap and I don't have that many. I purchased a, should I have that here somewhere? I should have here somewhere. I think it should be more on the top. Here somewhere. Did I not post? Must be picture somewhere. A G4. Where the heck would that be? So much too, but I can only test so much. And yes, I tested the PS3. Where is the bloody, here, of course. It was a local pickup, and due to that cheap, it's a dual G4, and I picked this up for $3. I said I don't get so much stuff anymore, but hear me out. First of all, did I mention it was cheap? Second of all, it came with a display in relatively good condition. It's a dual core and a dual processor, and I think I had no other dual processor 32-bit PowerPC. And what was the third reason? There was a third reason. Anyway, so for more testing, right? Exactly for this reason, to make sure T2 works on dual processor and other high-end stuff. So whatever the freeze was, maybe disallow list, some graphic driver. So this is also, I wish it were better, like marking previously tried graphic drivers and not trying them again. I might implement, for years I wanted to, it's just like basically also no other Linux distribution has this, right? M1, M2, M3, I probably better make a dedicated video. I could theoretically make one after. You know what? Let's make a second video because we need to make more YouTube videos because T2, basically, I made T2 in 2025 so far was basically a full-time job, right? I run my company basically, so I overwork myself, hopefully not to death, with some 80-hour work, and I, no kidding, spend probably around 40 hours of half of my 80-hour work on Saturdays and Sundays on T2, right? So that's why I'm begging for Shellac Subscribe Patreon stuff, because we need funding to keep up at this pace to making all this stuff great. But the good thing is we now do the fine polishing, right? Like basically we are getting not only into microkernel, but also to stuff like QEMU on Spark, for Rust on 32-bit Spark, for undeleting Riser 3 and Airport, and similar such fun. So next is, of course, for example, next could then be fixing upstream Mesa for Big Endian 3D acceleration. But or Firefox for all Big Endian for PowerPC. How often do you AI for your coding? Like nearly never. I only wipe code, like basically even the HTML. So our website is still old-fashioned technology, and I keep it like this. This is proud static HTML code. I only wipe code. It's like, hey, ChatGPT, how to center a div or so. Because, for example, we have in your new table, and like how ChatGPT, like some stuff that like, hey, how to, also like most stuff I did myself. Also, like, yeah, we have now a download table. Like previously our download page was one link to the server, like, yeah, go search the ISO yourself, right? So now we have a proper, or halfway, like, yes, we could do it even better, but did I mention I work 80 hours a week already, and I need more motivation on Patreon. What difference on GUIX, Nixos, and stuff? First of all, I've not tried them. Second of all, they support next to nothing. What's the T2 support? They don't support P3. They don't support. Do they support RISC-V? They don't support Spark. They support nothing of what I want, and probably not even cross-compiling. So basically, don't ask me what other links. I'm not distro hopping, right? Like for 25 years, I create the best cross-compiling package manager, and I'm not interested in other ones, right? I also have no time. Like, hey, I work already. Like, I work a company and an open source project, and I have no motivation nor wish to try out other stuff, because have you seen how amazing it just does everything T2 Linux is? So please, video fiber channel about fiber channel? What videos I have to do? My to-do for 2025 includes making more YouTube videos again, so share, like, and subscribe for more YouTube videos. This is also why Extra went online today. And the one I also, my other to-do for, because somehow mainstream media, somehow, nah. So I started as a test to post news here the last days on Medium. This will, if successful, it will not stay on Medium. This is only test, right? Because, like, have you seen Phoronix? Have you seen Tom's Hardware and some German news websites that post more about Lego, and every tweet of Elon Musk? That's, maybe we do news sites. I'm not yet. At least we see, right? Like, let's publish, let's summarize one IT news a day here on Medium, and after a month we evaluate, has this potential, right? Like, maybe subscribe there for free or so, and if you want any news things, then let me know. More clear, what specifically talk about for T2? Which one? How often do you AI for your, and for AI, I code nothing. For T2, I nothing. I mean, sometimes we ask now ChatGPT for fun, but it usually answers random bullshit. AI is not yet good at code, right? Can I try your Linux? So that's what this takeover. Also shout out, special shout out for Deep Computing for partially sponsoring ROCm port here for ROCm for RISC-V. Partially because they donated a reasonable amount, but it took 3 weeks. So if I do this professionally, it would not be profitable. I only do this because I love T2 and RISC-V and Deep Computing and you and everyone, and so share, like, subscribe, right? And huge shout out to, this is basically Deep Computing, the biggest sponsorship in years for making this work possible, as well as a Raspberry Pi. Actually, now that we are a growing, aspiring influencer, they sent me a latest Raspberry Pi 5. So more Raspberry Pi element coming soon, including PCIe stuff, DGPU, and ROCm, right? So I just got this the other day. Again, huge things. That is, of course, the difference between, do I need to purchase everything? Do I need to buy a trash can, a Xeon, a prototype, a PS3, and every Raspberry Pi? That is, of course, it's a small thing, but I really appreciate it, right? Because the difference is spending all the YouTube income on Raspberry Pi boards and stuff, or, I mean, I anyway had to spend some money because they sent me that. Some surrounding things I had to purchase myself. So they sent the starter kit, which is amazing. If you want ARM SBC stuff, of course, can recommend. Go with the mainstream standard, not all these randomly cursed boards without proper upstream support things. I purchased this PCIe head myself, the Oculink head, as well as the external DGPU stand here. So, but it's still a huge difference for an open source developer of getting some support instead of getting no support, right? So again, huge shout out and thank you, Raspberry Pi and Deep Computing. I appreciate every small token of appreciation very much, as I'm always, especially if you want to see more progress more faster. We obviously, it's like need more than 100. Yeah, there's only so much I can code for €196 a month. So welcome, Code Execute. Does your distro have higher barrier than, I think T2 is easier. From what I've seen, I'm obviously biased, and I'm new to this channel. I'm curious why I consider coding programming as an act of therapy. V therapy code. Have you seen the code V therapy code here? Because code always so buggy and needs our help. We are the therapy for broken #peakbugs code. That is why. But also, like, it can be a therapy. Like, have you looked outside how state of the world? So then it's like, don't doom scroll. Just do some open source coding. It makes the world better, and you help mental health better. Comments here. NixOS is easy if you don't like. I would say T2. I'm totally biased because I do this for 25 years and I rarely use other Linux distributions. However, I actually installed Gentoo and Clear Linux and Fedora and Arch recently for this takeover testing. Did I mention you can now take over your other OS with this simple curl trick? And maybe Code Execute wants to directly take over. What about one-click takeover on PS3? Yeah, so I installed 5 Linux distributions and I was really shockingly disappointed by all of them. People always like T2 not great, but like, have you seen Clear Linux, Gentoo, Arch, Fedora, and don't delay. Just do yourself a favor and install T2 Linux. It's free. So it only supports everything, and now ROCm AI on RISC-V. Things, fiber channel applications 30, students, things, people, comments. That's basically the summary. I just wanted to shout out here a summary of what we've done. We have been busy. Basically, few YouTube videos means we were busy. If you want to see all the daily stuff that's currently on Twitch, I will try to make more dedicated YouTube videos. Basically now that T2 is so much more amazing than it ever has been. I hopefully now have time again. So this is all the daily stuff here, right? Videos. So it's basically patching Rust, AMD ROCm, like these, at times we live streamed 6, 7, or 8 hours a day, right? Linux coding takeover, high performance stuff. Sometimes I just make funny things like 10x vibe coder, or like we made our website greater. You know, you need to make funny titles so people click on it. Updated Linux stuff, Audacity packaging are actually, speaking of which, right, this is also not ideal. So in a clean T2 install, this will build. We just uninstalled libjpeg. Tenacity, or did this actually? No, it didn't. What is it missing? Actually, I wanted to add more libjpeg, which it's VXWX. Okay, that's not ideal. That is not ideal, and theoretically, I don't want that. So master switch, just do it. Also, while we're talking, so that stuff is building, right? As you see here, so it's already up to already. Naya, Qt is big, so we are approaching Kate, and I spent days and nights making dependency resolution greater optional dependencies. Basically, that's also why I fixed some Enlightenment 16 detail and stuff. And so not actually, we could one last thing. I was wondering the other day, Enlightenment 17. All right, it's not just Enlightenment. I was wondering whether we correctly register this. Ah, yeah, we do this. This probably looks okay-ish. I just deleted that where I previously had installed that. So let's see. Okay, install it. Now, okay, we did one thing. Maybe one thing needed that anyway. Basically, you can now better skip about over all the optional doc stuff. I think something might have. Yeah, these days many dependencies that might give us Enlightenment 17 within 2 minutes 30, which ain't too bit for source distribution. If you're wondering, T2 comes with all these amazing things pre-installed, right? Like previous video, I spent 25 years. Also now we have some framework, obviously how many we're rendering 16 frames per second on the Steam Deck. Basically don't compile software while live streaming on your Steam Deck. It comes with everything you need for your desktop and then some, right? It comes with obviously Xorg, Wayland, Sway, XFCE, Firefox, Thunderbird, OpenJDK, QEMU, LibreOffice, and Wine. And did I mention OpenJDK? And basically, you only need to install some things from source that are way over this 2 GB base image that basically brings you everything that you would ever need for your home gaming or office business T2 desktop setup, right? Anyway, yeah, pity that we didn't have WX widgets here. That would have been a nice demo. We could shortly wait. Yeah, 42, 44%. Okay, let's one quick round of any further questions. And Rust utils. Yes, I said this. Let's better ask in a Rust video or on Twitch. It makes this YouTube summaries unnecessarily long, always re-answering everything. What do you think about Rust team rebuilding core utils? That is the previous questions. I mean, I don't need this. Basically, YOLO, whatever. Do you get access to Twitch streams if you give Patreon? I'm not sure if there is an API for that. I mean, maybe there is, but if you want Twitch streams, then maybe reduce your Patreon or directly subscribe to Twitch. I also want to. I just don't know if there's a web API to unlock that. But even if there were, I want to keep my web cloud integration stuff minimal. That is why I keep everything a little bit, keep it stupid simple. Please don't skip my chat. Which chat of I'm a student? Tell me what to learn in Linux. I made a good question. I made a Medium post because so many people always ask, what should I do there? Also, I renamed this. Always renaming. Yeah. Renews here. I posted just this close to the Metal Beginner's Guide to OS Driver Development. That's of course for free and stuff. I only basically each time I tell the same 5 minutes. So basically, there is basically long story short, TLDR. Look into what interests you, because everyone is different, and if I might be interested in GPU stuff, does not mean that you're interested in GPU stuff. Please, so keep seek ROCm nice when deep seek video. Yeah, but you can deep seek. You can deep stuff on RISC-V now with D2. Want to learn low? So yeah, basically, then this article, if you want to learn low-level programming, this article is for you. But basically, it's different. It depends on yourself, on your current skill set, on your future skill set you want to develop, and on your interests, right? Like some people love GPUs, and not you might it might shock some gamers. Not everyone is in 3D and gaming and GPUs, right? Especially some people hate this modern proprietary, obscured, obfuscated complexity, and they rather prefer to work on similar complex but less proprietarily obscured storage, RAID things or distributed cluster file systems and networking stuff. Already the newest ROCm, yes, of course. So we spent 3 weeks making it work at all in T2. The ROCm here in previous Twitch videos here somewhere, probably still to be archived. Maybe I just dump here, like you see 2 hour 30. It's like, yeah, stuff takes time, right? Oops. Also only 10 days. Huh? Okay, probably the first already lost, but you get the idea. And yeah, the latest. The latest is not yet fully tested, but the latest is tested to mostly build. And not all of the 64 ROCm packages built. There are still some. So most of the basics infrastructure built. This stuff is so obscure, even after 3 weeks of working on it, not every small example built. So what do you think, Firefox, they turn into a spy company? I wouldn't say they full-blown turn into a spy company. I find it lame. I criticize Mozilla, like the Linux Foundation. But I find Mozilla as lame as the Linux Foundation, so that doesn't differ that much. Let's hope we don't have any other libjpeg. I wanted to show you this Tennessee, just so that video, audio, desktop, Firefox, LibreOffice, T2 just does everything, including this amazingly less cloudy Audacity fork now. Whatever the deleted comment was, please see my question about Stefan. Can you compile a nice list of free books about kernel-related matters online? I mean, I don't have this list, right? Like, basically, I work 40 hours a week making T2 the greatest OS of the West, or made in Germany, or Europe, or whatever. Or at least the greatest OS for myself. And on top of like curate me a list of books, I don't have a list of books, right? So it basically would be basically what you can do is join some users or Discord and compile a list there. However, that's the thing, right? Like I don't need to read the most books anymore. Like I fix here Rust low-level things and LVM Clang bugs per the dozen, and I'm really, I mean, when I purchase a book, it might be other fairy tales for my family or stuff. I mean, I always found, what do you say, kernel-related matters. I mean, otherwise, yeah, it's somehow said that, but you see, books are somewhat so unprofitable, unpopular, that even who wrote the previous book, like Greg Kroll-Hartman or other people who wrote the last Linux kernel book, they cancel that too, right? So what makes an OS the best? That it A, works, B, for everything, and it supports the most, is the highest optimized, and stuff, right? And the least bugs. Recent Medium blog, you mentioned T2 is great for students, want to tinker with system programming. Can you please tell me ways you can do it, fix open issue? Yeah, so I also, actually, that's a good question. I transitioned some of my issues to GitHub issues so that more people see this. I still have 920 lines of to-do. But I added some here, some of which actually, fun fact, you can earn money with T2 because we are probably the only Linux distribution that pays you. We have some issues, those issues that are marked by me or sometimes others. But if others always check if they really pay you, there's some huge bounty, 200 or so euro for making Spark stuff work more. But some issues, yes. So this are not yet the highest bounties, but hey, I work for free and you don't Patreon enough or share, like, and subscribe. But we are getting there, right? Like, it's a start, and I think it's amazing. So basically, if you have no idea what you want to work on, you can look at these issues, maybe particularly the sponsored bounties. Otherwise, the idea of T2 is that, as you see here, it's much, so you compile the stuff yourself. Ours is also built, amazing. Then maybe we in some minutes have tenacity. The idea is that you're much closer to the build, and it's a source distribution. Anyway, yes, there's also Gentoo and stuff. But in general, T2 is also low code, much less hard coded packages compared to other Linux distributions. And cross compiling. So unlike other Linux distributions, where if you wanted to support something on PowerPC, you would need to compile this forever on your PS3 or Power Mac. You can just build the sources, right? And you can just patch whatever. And you can also rebuild basically one click, rebuild all your installation. Also using other C libraries and other such things. Right? So if you wanted to work on things, new system calls, BPF, other modern techniques, you could who system rebuilds this, or like Wayland and so on, right? Or whatever you might work on, or like especially also for embedded stuff, because for the embedded boards, you often have vendor-specific patches, or especially for media decode acceleration and AI. And with T2, you can just package this very easily and even cross-compile and stuff, right? Rust broke in. Am I missing up? Don't settle it in. Yeah, so this Rust stuff is some. I mean, it usually builds for me. By the way, I hope we don't have audio dropouts, but it says 0 drop frames, and because we are having such a high tenacity load here. Of course, the T2 ISOs are bootable. I don't know what for VMware. Like, I have no idea why they should not boot in for VMware. They usually should do. We unit test them in QEMU. I mean, I'm obviously using QEMU. Theoretically, I have a VMware license from 15 years ago, but like, I'm not usually. But I mean, maybe choose another machine type. But they should be bootable as PC, MBR, BIOS, and EFI. Did you use the right ISO? We now have a nice table. Did you use x86-64? Not that you used something incompatible. How is the actual microkernel going? That is a good question. It's coming soon because now all Linux is amazing. So now next we can actually do, soon we can do microkernel. Dependency package, Slackware. I don't know what Slackware. Do they even support RISC-V? Or I don't know. Not really sure where you guys are always going with your other Linux distributions. Wait, this is also wrong. Tenacity. Yeah, it's still a little bit. Also, Lightament. How did this fail? Why is that? I thought we fixed this the other day. That is unfortunate. Yeah, okay. Of all the things that failed, there's only one failure there. Maybe Lua JIT or whatnot. We will end with showing you audio on desktop. I mean, not only I have multiple audio streams running here and then Firefox. We capture desktop audio, we capture microphone, we capture video in. Yes, it's, I know, 16 frames, 14 frames. That is overheating Steam Deck. I need to undervolt it again. So, in 18%, we are done. Actually, we also added some other black hole 10, what is their name? This AI accelerator from, that's not ideal. One wrong focus and you close the wrong window. From whatever the company name was. We packaged that too. Black hole AI accelerator, something with T, I believe, T10 tends torrent. So T2 supports that too, of course. Like basically T2 increasingly is a number one. Did I mention it just does everything? T2 increasingly is the go-to Linux distribution for everything. You want old shit, T2. You want latest RISC-V stuff, T2. You want AMD ROCm AI stuff, T2. You want desktop Linux, T2. You want high-performance gaming, did I mention T2? You want to do homebrew on macOS, T2 does it too. But NVIDIA things, and NVIDIA keep away with the devil. T2 NVIDIA is until NVIDIA sponsors me and pays me to touch their cursed binary only stuff. T2 is a user contribution patch only affair, except what I can fix in Novo and eventually P3 R6. Rage SL works set Mach 64 would actually. What text mode has no support from? I don't know what you mean by that. You downloaded ARM64. Yeah, but that boots in VMware for ARM too. Or Parallels for ARM on Apple Silicon. I'm working somewhere full-time. Yes, of course, in my own company. Is it not? I thought that is obvious. Last but not least, I have a company that cross-finances Linux development with selling paperless office products for OCR and PDF processing, because that is something that people spend money on in contrast to T2 freaking Linux. Only increasingly the best Linux distribution that simply does everything, but few want a Patreon for. So yeah, but I probably neglect our PDF office stuff a little bit for developing our future OS, because have you seen the state of macOS and Windows? And welcome everyone. But of course, otherwise you don't want to delay and try. And don't mix T2 with some other T2, because some people thought it's a good idea to have their Apple T2 patches as T2 Linux when there was already T2 Linux. So thank you for that confusing stuff. I hope it goes away. First time Series DB set parties company doesn't with AMD. Why not? Why not? So yeah, this is Mach 64. I don't know. Works for me. Not really sure what you say there. This doesn't work. But okay, audio, at least audio not dropping. So let's see. Do we have an audio? We now have an audio. So I had this previously already, but then I uninstalled libjpeg. Basically, don't do this. So then we can tenacity. We can hopefully demonstrate the state of desktop Linux that now also has a flagship audio editor in Linux. Also, we also support multi-track. So if you want to mix an audio record, then just go here to our amazing Ardour. I believe that. And of course, we also have that. So if you want to record and mix multi-track and MIDI and stuff, then don't delay. Give this open source stuff here a try, right? That, of course, also builds. Let's just check if they have a new version. 8.12, that's what we have in T2. And yeah, next. You're so clever. Guess why I work full-time on T2? Because we soon will have more users. Guess why I'm working on digital sovereign Linux? Basically, that's for the summary. And now with audio, look at this goodness. If that is not some state-of-the-art desktop system. And this is live running. This is not running on an EPIC Threadripper Ryzen, PowerPC, EPIC 64, RISC-V Ripper. This is on a quad or so core Steam Deck, 15-watt TDP, live streaming, live audio. That's it for the summary. I hope you enjoyed this live presentation of probably easily 1 hour or whatnot. Yeah, approaching 1 hour. A little bit more efficiently today. Let's make another live stream because I want it anyway. Let's discuss Apple Silicon Asahi Linux on my main channel right there. Channel page link, other channels, main channel. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this, learned something. Don't delay, try to Linux today. It just does everything. Patches welcome, patronage, motivation, and have a good day or night, and see you soon.
Beneath the shadow of algorithms, past the walled gardens of greed, we seek the root, the kernel of truth, a system we're destined to see. Not kings in castles, but hackers in the night. We wield no swords, just lines of light. The bash echoes, the binaries hum, the revolution isn't coming, it's already begun. Break the lock, decrypt the lie. We don't obey, we modify.
Who owns the key? No one and everyone. Who writes the rules? Coders in the underground. Who guards the gates? There are no gates. And the power?
It lives in every open state.
We don't ask permission, we fork, we clone from source, we rise, the system's dethroned. T2-liners, whispers from a quiet hub, proof that innovation's not born of clubs. We compile futures with every commit, no proprietary chains, we're done with it.
Hack it, patch it, share it, grow. Knowledge flows where the packets go. From the coder in Berlin to the dreamer in Seoul, we are fragments of one infinite whole. This is our language, she assembler and rust. The syntax of dreams and an insurgency. No patents, no borders, no secrets withheld. The new world order is user compiled.
We are the hackers, the breakers of chains, not chaos but order through what remains in every open repo, in every shared space. The revolution thrives, it cannot be erased.
Break the lock, decrypt the lie. We don't obey, we modify. Break the lock, decrypt the lie. We don't obey, we modify.
That is our air music. Commercial release pending. T2 is just the last Linux distribution you shall ever need. It only does everything.